I sure have.
My project was called Fishing Business because I was testing the visibility of fishing line in water with different like water clarities. And like what I used for water clarities was actually like I would take these sheets and like I had it all in a fish tank, which you'll see shortly. And I would like take the sheet and place it behind the fish tank, and then use that, and then have the person look through. I'll show you that here in a second. My normal process was there would be no difference in the visibility of the different brands of fishing line. And then an alternate hypothesis was more expensive fishing line will be less visible.
Pause it.
Here's a little video I have. It's going to show you the material as I use it.
I'll start off today by showing you some of the material I used for my fishing visibility line experiment. We're starting with the fishing line I used for the actual experiment. First off, we have spider wire super mono. I'm happy to show you a picture on my computer because the box is actually at home with all my other fishing stuff on the boat. So we had spider wire, triple leg, super mono, 12-pound test line. Second, we had String Original, 12-pound test line. And we had Berkeley Vanish, 12-pound test line. Eagle Claw Premium Fishing Line, 12-pound test line. Then the Zebco Monofilament Fishing Line, that was also 12 pounds. Here are the weights that I used to tie to the end of the line that was sunk down into the fish tank. This is the actual size I used during the experiment. Okay. Here's an example of what it actually looked like when it was set down in the water. So it was spider wire. Here's my String Original. Berkeley Vanish. Eagle Claw. And Zebco. Okay, so that's an overview of how everything was set up on my fishing line visibility experiment.
Okay, so I have a couple of pictures here to kind of show you what I was doing. I had this set up in the workroom, and I actually had people come and look at this line, and I used that's how I collected all my data. And I had this like a fish tank. There was no fish tank she had in the workroom. I used it, put it full of water, and then set up each one of the lines in it as so. And the hardest part was literally to get these bobbers to stand up straight. That was awful. Because if you did if the line was in the exact length, then the bobber would like flip over sideways and they float around. And there's another picture. That's just like the side view. What I was saying was with how I was using the water clarity is like I would have this had it set up like that, and someone would sit in front of it, and I would have these like the colors behind the line that they were looking at that time to test like different clarities. So like this is like a tan color that I used. I used an orange color or yellow, and then green and blue. And then I also used white, just plain white one. And then whenever they would sit down in front of the fish tank to look at the different lines, this is kind of like what I showed them and kind of gave them an example to go by. I said just look at the line. I had them look at the middle of the line. Actually, a lot of you in here did this experiment, but I had them. I said just kind of use this scale. If they could see the line, say it was visible. If they couldn't see the line, then they would write not visible. And then if they could somewhat kind of see it, I'd say it was somewhat visible. And I had them fill out my these papers. You can pass that around, and it shows they would write under water clarity. They would write down what color the piece of paper was behind it, and then they would rank it how they saw it. Here's just some more pictures of how the tank was set up. I labeled it bobber. Vanish equals fall. Okay, here this is an example of I had the tank set up as it was spider wire, string line, Berkeley Vanish, eagle claw, and then the Zepco line on a row. So what I did was this is a kind of a, I don't know if you can kind of see the line. This is off with the paper bag background, like a brown paper bag. I just wanted to kind of show you an example of kind of what they were looking at. But I had them look at the actual line more toward the middle of the line, so it would be, so everybody could do the same thing. But you can see how that far one over there is spider wire, this one is string. And then the first one is string, the second one is Berkeley Vanish. And then the two over here are, the first one is the eagle claw, and the second is the Zepco. I had to take pictures of the weights down here because every time I tried to take a picture in a fish tank of like the line that was going up, the camera wouldn't focus on the fishing line in the middle of the tank, so it wouldn't pick it up. So I could focus it on the weight, and then you could kind of see the line. Otherwise, you couldn't see the line at all. Okay, what I ended up doing was I took the averages of this. I had 30 people do this, look at it, and I took the averages of the 1 to 3 scale and put that as how well they could actually tell the visibility was. So the average for the white background, only using having a white piece of paper back behind the tank, people could see. It's a 1.46 average. So it was closer to not visible than it was visible. So, and then you can tell on each one of those, so each different kinds of line, how I actually did that. And then that was with the white background. This is the green background. As you can see on most of these slides, the actual visibility, the Berkeley Vanish is the best as far as visibility goes, a line, because it's the one that they can't see the most. If that makes sense. So I took each one of the averages of all those, and the eagle claw was always the worst, and the Berkeley Vanish was always the best. The spider wire was nowhere pretty close behind on most of the colors. So here's the blue background. The visibility was a lot higher with the blue background. And then the yellow background was, the Berkeley Vanish was almost not visible every single time in all 30 trials. And then the tan background. So and that's, they're a lot more visible with the tan backgrounds as well. So I decided, well, this is the overall, if I added up each color together, that's the overall averages of how well you can see them. So what I did is I rejected my null hypothesis because of observation of what everybody saw, of what they did see, and by the averages of them looking and saying how visible or not visible it was. So I ended up rejecting it, saying that the brains of line did have a difference of visibility. And then, because all the lines are very different, obviously. And then I also compared the visibility and the price. This is price like per dollar, so these are, all three of these would cost about, I think it was like $11 almost. And then the Zepco and the Eagle Claw both cost $4. But if you compare them, like the string was really bad because it had a really high visibility scale, but then it also costs a lot, so also I don't use that. And I've always been a spider wire guy, so I always use the spider wire. And I actually think I'm going to switch and change to the vertically vanished because it's less visible for hopefully to the fish as well, so it goes with a lot of view. So that's how I did that. And then on I was actually comparing the cost, like the more expensive line will cost less or be less visible. That wasn't true because the string cost $11 and it was almost the worst visibility of all the lines. So, and Zebco was cheapest, but it was kind of in the middle, and it was less visible than the string. Okay. You got any questions? Mm-hmm.
What is the relationship between how fish eyes work and human eyes? Is that a fair comparison?
No, I don't know. I got fish. I don't know how they would necessarily see underwater. I guess it'd be like you underwater with your eyes open. But I mean, like your head wasn't actually in the water, or ours wasn't when we looked at it. So that's assuming that the fish would see the line about equally as we would see it as they're in the water. But it was really funny. I actually started looking up stuff about the actual fishing lines that I use, because like I said, I always use spider wire. Spider wire is a monofilament line, and its monofilament will stretch more, but it is more visible in the water. And then like the fluorocarbon, which was the vertically vanished, has less stretch in it, but it is supposed to be not visible under the water. So that showed in my test.
You said that you had a yellow background. When would you ever have yellow water?
I guess if it was a really...
I just curious.
Well, I don't know that you have yellow water, but I guess if your water is really clear on a sunny day, I mean, you're just going to have just tints or background. If there's something down in the water, like if it wouldn't necessarily be yellow, but that would just be like a different, kind of like a shade that it may be in the water.
Like we see goldfish on the other side of the water.
Could be, yeah.
Could be a bunch of goldfish around.
Could be a gold bottom.
Maybe.
The bottom of the lake is gold, so it just makes the water gold.